Okay, great. So I'm really thrilled to introduce Jaime to all of you today. Jaime and I have known each other for, I would say, maybe a couple of years now. We're kind of neighbors in New Jersey. He's up in Montclair and I'm down in Summit, but we've had the opportunity to kind of get to know each other and work together on some projects over the last couple of years, specifically in communities and then also with small businesses. And I know you all have had a chance to maybe read a little bit about Storefront Mastery and Jaime, but you guys, he is an incredible creative thinker and has a ton of experience from everything from urban planning to co-founding a city to consultant to small business advisor. And so I'm really thrilled that he's giving us a little bit of his time and sharing some of his expertise with us, specifically to focus on crafting a memorable brand experience for your store. And I know he did ask everyone to specify whether you have a storefront business or not, but I think what you'll find as he moves through his talk today that it doesn't necessarily it matters, but it doesn't always matter as well because there's so many creative things you can apply to just an online business and vice versa. So there's different ways to, I think, hopefully you'll walk away today of how you can think about implementing creative brand experiences, whether you're just online, in line and brick and mortar, or just brick and mortar and looking to incorporate an online component with us, right? Like we're all working towards. So with that said, Jaime, would you like to go ahead and take it away? Introduce yourself and take it away.
Thank you so much. Yes, very, very, very happy to be here. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, everyone. I'm very happy. So I am going to jump right to the presentation because all the presentation is there. So if I can just share my screen
Mhm.
a second and I'll jump into it. Yes. Can you see this?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you for coming to my presentation. It's called Crafting the Brand Experience. And you're going to see this word repeat a lot, the experience. Whether we like it or not, we have experiences every day. When we get up in the morning and step out of our homes, we experience the street. If it's a beautiful street, if it's an okay street, if it's a noisy street, it affects the way we function in space. So we're always providing these experiences, especially if we're working in main streets, working in downtowns, working in small businesses, or even large businesses. We are providing experiences. So the idea is that we will craft these to become unforgettable, to become fabulous, and this is what we do. So, without more, this is me. This is my family. I am the founder of Storefront Mastery. I am originally from Ecuador in South America. I've lived here for 7 years, 5 of which I've been living in New Jersey, which I love. I've found many, many other things. The first one, when I was 15 years old, I founded a band. And turns out that we were horrible, but turns out that the keyboard player from that band became the mayor of my city, Quito. And so what happened is of course, he called all his old bandmates who, in different capacities, we had all been in contact with city building. I am a recovering architect. My other friend is also a practicing architect. Another one is an urban photographer. So he called all of us in different capacities. And I got the opportunity to found a public office that was called the Office of Urban Mechanics. The idea was we pop the hood of the city, go into the engine, and see what's not working so that we can fix it. And we started fixing digital service providing. We started fixing physical service providing, licensing, permits, all these things. And then I moved on to my own consultancy, which was a basically urban economic development, but also there was some urban design. Then I moved here. I was working for a wonderful company. It's a digital urbanism company, and then I founded Storefront Mastery 2019, devoted to working with small businesses, with local businesses to create amazing experiences. I also founded during those years. I also founded a city. I co-founded a city, like Kate mentioned, which was an amazing experience because it just gives you the the perspective of knowing all the different aspects that go into actually creating something from scratch that technically cannot be created from scratch. So this is something that is very relevant for what I'm going to talk later. And the most important lesson I've learned from everything that I've told you is that everything compounds. Every little detail, every single thing, every single idea, every single situation you're in, good, bad, worse, everything compounds and teaches you and allows you to form this amazing, complex idea of this is how things work. And every extra thing multiplies the other. So you're not adding one thing, you're letting that new thing multiply the rest. And this is what's beautiful about it. Jumping into the presentation, this is a motto that I try to tell clients all the time. Every Main Street business is actually a hospitality business. And for this, it doesn't matter if you have a storefront, a beautiful sidewalk fronting storefront, if you don't have a storefront, but you have a physical business, or if you don't have a physical business, but you do have a digital storefront. And I will call those digital storefronts also because, again, it's going to be relevant. So, what does this mean? Every Main Street business is a hospitality business. The business of Main Street is attracting people, providing a unique, memorable experiences, and elevating the entire community. This is much like amusement parks do. They need a lot of people. They are providing a great place to be. Everything's magic. Everything is happy. And then each ride that you go into elevates the way that you experience the rest. This is the business of Main Street. So, who are the people that are creating retail attractions that are great experiences? Of course, Disney, IKEA, Starbucks, Nike, Aesop, and Shinola. You may or may not have heard of the last ones. I will tell you about them. These brands are fairly well known. And of course, Disney is known for many things, but when you are in one of their parks, they stay in character throughout. Anyone you speak to, every single thing you do, every restaurant you step into, everything is crafted so that the user's experience during their stay at the Disney park is perfect. It's magical. Is it real? Maybe not. But do they do a good job? They do a fantastic job. What does IKEA do? You step into an IKEA and you see the beds, the chairs, the desks, the couches, and you try them. You're trying someone's home for size. And this is what is amazing about IKEA. They don't just let you into the marketplace so you can grab things and go. They let you into people's living rooms where you can experience a very nice way of living. And this is their magic. Starbucks, if you try to go back to when Starbucks started, it was an experience. It was a coffee experience. Coffee went up from being $1.50 coffee to being a double macchiato espresso, whatever, sweet with cream and stuff like that. And people really were eager to go into Starbucks and try that. And then when Starbucks got massive, they started introducing their VIP stores. So if you're in one of the lucky cities that have the Starbucks roastery, like Milan in Italy, so they are trying to compete with Italian coffee. This is the next step. What they're doing is they're appealing to all your five senses with the smell of coffee, with the feel of the coffee grains and the canvas of the sacks and everything that they are putting in front of you, and they're sitting you in these great leather seats. It just feels fantastic. What does Nike do? Nike makes everything interactive. If you go to the former Nike towns and now just Nike stores, that they don't even refer to as stores. If you see this is a trend. Apple doesn't refer to their Apple stores as store. Nike doesn't refer to their stores as store. Uh, Genesis, you may have seen these electric luxury cars that Hyundai is selling now. They have these stores, but they do not refer them as stores. They call them the Genesis houses. This is a great concept that it will also be handy later. So what does Nike do? You go in, there's a basketball court, and there's a running track, and there's a place where someone is actually painting shoes. So the shoe artist is helping people paint their own shoes, and then they're finishing the shoes with Nike quality, and you walk out with shoes that you made yourself. So it's tailored, it's personalized, it's amazing. Aesop is a cosmetics retailer. And what Aesop does is they keep the same brand, which is a very generic brand for their bottles and the containers that they use, but each store is completely unique. They bring amazing designers, and these stores are in airports, in very high-end neighborhoods all over the globe, and they bring designers that will create these stores that are very, very unique. However, they managed to retain the branding, and they managed to retain the message, and they managed to retain all the narrative despite the stores not looking anything like another one. And Shinola, which you may have heard of, is this is the symbol of the rebirth of Detroit. Shinola is a manufacturing company. They make watches and bicycles and very, very meticulous craftsmanship, and it's a very proud craftsmanship idea. And they show you the manufacturing on site. You walk into the flagship Shinola, you see them building things, you see how things are being built, and you see the rugged manufacturing part, and this is how they infuse it with pride. We are making this, we can make this, and we will make it. So these are the experts. And how do we replicate that in our downtowns? We have a few, I guess, elements of the experience that we can craft if we are downtown. Now, if you are not downtown, if you are off Main Street, if you are just online, all these things, perhaps except the staging, will apply to you, but then the staging will apply to your digital storefront. Digital storefronts need to retain the brand. Digital storefronts and even, yeah, they need to retain the brand. They need to retain the experience. They need to replicate whatever experience may be in the physical world. They need to replicate this into the digital world. So I'm going to move these through fairly fast. You'll be able to access the presentation later. I will send the link to Kate and Jenny, so you can have it later. So the vision is what you think your business can be. Don't tell me what you think your business is. Tell me the wish list of what you think your business can be. This is your vision, right? You bringing your original idea. This is what I want to put out in the world. That is your vision, right? You need to have that vision really set down, pen and paper, written down. This is what I want. It will be the base for everything you do later. You will tell a story. Everyone has a story. I told you a little bit of my story. You have your own story, which may or may not intertwine with your brands and your business story. Your story, you as the creator of your business, you bring your personal story into the business, and you infuse it with this unique character that is also very, very relevant for Main Street, right? Main Street needs to be unique. Main Street needs to be an experience. And if you bring your personal story, your personal business story to the environment, you're making it better. So craft that story. Tell me that story. Tell me that story from the first person. Tell me, I did this, I made this, I thought this, I created this. This is how you tell your story, and you'll realize that there's different touch points in that story where it is more relevant to what you're doing right now. And this is where you focus. These are the steps that you make count, and these are the steps that make your business stronger. Then we move on to the branding. Your branding is your message. People think that brand is the logo that they craft for their business, but that is not it. Your brand is nothing less than the perception that your customers and your network have of your business. What is the impression that your business gives? What is the idea that people have when they hear Storefront Mastery, people have an idea. That is my brand. I can change my logo 1,000 times. I can change the font of my presentations. I can change my voice. I can go to theater coaching to learn how to speak better and modulate my voice and project. But it will still be the perception that others have of my brand, what is actually making up my brand. So we need to work hard on what is the impression that our brand is leaving on people. Usually we try to find our vision and our story, the way of our vision and our story into our brand. So the logo, of course, will be a manifestation of our ideas, and we need to work hard to give it consistency so that the brand that people see is the brand that we want people to see. And when we align those two, that is when we have success. And of course, you apply your brand, your message, your narrative to everything, every point of contact, right? If you have physical store, it may be signage, it may be whatever the design of your store. If you have a digital store, it has to be the design of your digital store, it has to be the integration of your e-commerce platform, it has to be everything that you do, so that when people are interacting with your brand, they see the message that you want them to see. It's very important to align the perception and what you want to say. Oh, too far. Staging. There. Staging, yes, staging is more for physical stores. And this is when we talk about your store becoming a theater. This is when we talk about your store becoming a stage where a performance takes place and you walk into your store. What do people need to do before they walk into your store? They need to have an interaction with the entrance. So how amazing is your entrance that people will look and will say, oh, this looks amazing, I have to go, I absolutely have to go in, right? When they come in, they're coming in from outside. There's cars and noise and alarms and bustling and people shouting and kids playing and just noise. And you come into this store, which is an oasis of just beautiful colors and everything is fantastic. You come in, you have to decompress. So there's a decompression zone that lets people make the transition from the noisy street to the beautiful store. And then you have what they call the soft right. Yes, everyone comes into a store and naturally veers right. So what do you give them when they turn to the right? You don't sell them anything yet. When they move to the right, you let them in on the values, on the principles, on the brand, and then you start selling. So this is the staging. It has to stage as a play. The user experience, the UX of your digital storefront has to do the same thing. Maybe there's no entrance funnel, maybe there's no decompression zone, maybe there's no soft right, but there are also elements in the digital storefront that will help customers make the transition from reading their email or being on Facebook to being on your store and being immersed by everything that you're giving them from your store. And so customers are not anymore looking for products. They're looking for what's coming with those products. The experience of shopping becomes the product. The experience of receiving a service becomes the product. And this is what's going on right now. This is what, when you hear about the experience economy, this is what it is. People are not anymore seeking for products because maybe sometimes products are cheaper and more convenient somewhere else, but what you can give them that make you basically impossible to compete with is the experience. So try to turn each product into an experience. The delivery of products, the delivery of services, that is your product. So I could talk about establishing a path. Basically, you pre-design what the customer does while they're walking through your store. You make them see what you want them to see. You make them stop and really think of what they're seeing when you want them to stop and think of what they're seeing. And this path works the same way when you are in a physical store or when you are in a digital store. And when I say store, it may not be an actual retail store. It may be, for example, a medical office. It may be anything. Every single business can benefit from having these ideas implemented in the way they work. And of course, this is doing crazy stuff. Hold on. There. Interactivity. People need to participate and become part of the story, right? What you're doing is you're presenting the narrative of your brand, and what you want is for people to be part of that brand experience. You want people to be part of the brand narrative. You want people to be loyal to your brand. You want people to feel happy when they're in contact with your brand. You want people to be the ambassadors of your brand. When they leave the store and they see their friends, oh, you have no idea this place, you have to come with me the next time to this place, right? They will be the best ambassadors. They will be the best advocates for your brand. This is what happens when they get when the interactivity that you're offering is an immersive experience. They get in, they feel like they are one with the brand, and the brand is giving them what they want. Then they will go happy, and they will continue to be happy, and they will make you happy too. So how do you do this? You teach them something useful, you give them a parting gift, and the parting gift can be an actual physical gift. It could be an extra service that you can provide, or it can be something emotional. It can be an emotional connection that you are intentionally designing to create between the brand, the store, the business, and the customer. So when they leave with this emotional gift that will really, really last, and will really, really create some bonding between your brand and the customer. So I know by now you must be thinking of what are these emotional gifts. Maybe you already give them. Maybe you all, because you are in this main street, because you are in this downtown small business community, you are already thinking of these things, even though maybe you haven't systematized them down, you haven't realized them and written them down, but you're probably already providing them. Just seek and you shall find. And then, why is this doing something weird? There. After people purchase from you and they leave, what do you want to happen? This is something you control. You control the level of interaction that your customers have after they leave. You control the level of happiness and engagement with your brand after they leave. And this is how you develop a community of users. This is what I call a tribe. A tribe is not just a community of people that are there and maybe chat sometime, but it's a community of people that share their experiences after they use the products. It's a community of people that share new and exciting ways to use the products. It's a community that people share recommendations and share tips and share ideas. And maybe if the community really grows and starts to become more complex, maybe they take a trip together. Maybe they get together in a store and stage a, maybe one is an artist and you open a gallery showing in one of the stores. So things really start to intermingle when you are successful creating these communities, and these communities are created post purchase when they leave, right? So how do you do this? Maybe you can start an exclusive membership club. Maybe you can. There's a fantastic store here in a town called Haddonfield, that's close to Philadelphia. The store is called Maison Marcel, and the lady who owns it used to be, she says, in a very boring corporate job, and eventually she decided to leave. I'm done with this. I'm leaving, and she took a store, the lease on a store, took a trip to Paris, went into secondhand stores in Paris, bought really fabulous dresses, but not just any dress, really fabulous dresses, brought them back and opened her store. And she ambiented her store to look like it's Paris. So you walk in and you feel like you're in old Paris. And she will, of course, open a bottle of champagne every day at noon. If you're there, you'll get a glass of bubbly, and and she will show you these dresses and tell you the stories and really bring you into what's happening in the store. And she has a club, which is a monthly club. You get the Maison Marcel box, which is she calls it the Très Chic box. And you get little things, trinkets, maybe a glass, maybe a little bottle of champagne, maybe just different things that she sends every month. And this is a limited edition thing. So she opened. Now I have opened 6 more spots for the Trey Chic box, and you have to, just like trying to get concert tickets, you have to go in and try to grab your box because it's very hard. She speaks to her customers, and she calls them the something like the chic club or something. And it's they become this community because she is intentionally creating the community. She takes the trips to Paris to go to this is her business. She goes to the thrift stores and secondhand stores in Paris. She buys amazing things. She brings them back, and she's broadcasting the trip. So you are actually following her as she eats her crepes on the street carts in Paris, as she goes into the wonderful Galerie Lafayette department stores, and doing the purchasing and doing the trip on the river and looking at the Eiffel Tower, whatever. And she's painstakingly building this community and bringing them into and bringing them with her as she does everything she builds in public, completely in public. She's creating a brand culture. She's creating the post-visit engagement. She's controlling basically everything that happens after they purchase. They organize parties. This is really a fantastic way of doing, and this is how you create your community. Now, on to the practical things. 5 concrete actions that you can start today to achieve these things. Number 1 is to activate the sidewalk. I will actually tell you each one. Lights, music, and cookies, path and trajectory, pairings, and then teachable skills. Number 1, activate the sidewalk. Tables are not only for restaurants. Whatever type of business you have, you can activate the sidewalk. Do you have just a digital business? Yes, you can activate the sidewalk. You can collaborate with a physical business. You can go to market. You can just have your online store and then eventually sell to markets. But you have many reasons, many ways, many different manners of activating the sidewalk. Tables are not only for restaurants. Tables can be amazing for just gathering people outside. These can become hubs of the community just by putting a table outside. Spilling over means bringing something of what you do outside. That top left picture there is a fantastic example. This is my friend Mariana from back home. She has a art cinema house, which had like 2 people coming to each movie, and then she decided to create this parklet. And then she brought ladies from the neighborhood, and she created, which are her friends, and they created this knitting club. So every Tuesday at 5 p.m. they will meet in this parklet and knit. And this became such a huge thing that now she has 5 people for each movie. It may not seem much, but it has changed dramatically the way the art house is interacting with the neighborhood. It happens the same way whenever businesses are spilling over to the sidewalk. The key is to integrate the neighborhood, and of course the knitting club is just her friends, the ladies that are getting together and knitting. But eventually it starts to grow. Eventually it's okay, let's teach a knitting class. So there's I don't know, little kids from the neighboring houses that come, and they're being taught a skill. They're being taught patience. They're being taught design. So all the things that you can learn when you're knitting, these are the things that these kids are getting. And there's of course many other things, because the community of creatives, of course, there's the knitting people, there's the cinema people, there's the coffee shop people. Everyone is getting together, and all these ideas are just bustling and boiling in the neighborhood. So things happen. The lower photo from that is a neighboring parklet in a coffee house in the same neighborhood, half a block away, that wasn't doing anything. And then when the parklet revolution started in this neighborhood, which I'm proud to have started, when the parklet revolution started in this neighborhood, they actually spilled over, and the benefits became incredible, especially people from the neighborhood coming together and crafting this community that may or may not have been there. Light, music, and cookies is engaging all 5 senses. What happens when you smell cookies? What happens when you go to the theater, cinema, and you smell the popcorn? What happens when you pop into Starbucks and you smell the coffee, right? Smell is the most powerful sense to bring back memories. This is where the areas of the brain where memories are stored is closest to the areas of the brain that are activated when you smell something. So please disregard that trash bag and focus on the pink and the donuts and the rest of the things that may evoke your senses when you look at this storefront. And also keep it interesting, even if it's closed. This is of course, a nightly picture of this store, and it looks amazing. During the day, it really looks great, but at night, it's a respite on when you're walking on a not so bright neighborhood. And of course, everyone loves cookies, right? Everyone loves a little something that you can put out. And if they smell it and they can see it, and even better if they can take it home, this is really something, a very, very good way to activate and to start building that community. The path and the trajectory, it's what I was telling you before, right? You welcome people, you say hi, and you don't start selling right away. You start selling after they have decompressed, they have assumed that they are in your store, they have absorbed a little bit of your brand values and principles, they have connected with your brand, and then you start selling. Everything tells a story. Each thing that you do, each thing that you sell, each thing that people see when they are in your store or your website or your inside your business, I'm going to call that a store anyway, is it has a story, and it depends on how you tell those stories, the more engagement that they will get, or at least the more opportunities for engagement that they will get. And if you tell diverse different stories of each, of course the opportunities for more people to engage, because there's a diverse array of stories, is greater. Show your highlights, show your wins, show your W's. I don't know if you can see it all the way in the back there, but there's a trophy. This is a Salvadoran restaurant in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And every year, the Chelsea neighborhood creates an empanada contest. So all the restaurants are very carefully crafting their own empanada recipe, and people go in and have the empanadas, and then they get to vote, and whoever gets the most votes, of course, wins the yearly empanada contest. And this is a great, beautiful, huge trophy that has a plaque. It's like a sports trophy. It has a plaque that every day gets inscribed with that year's winner. Of course, these people won the past year, and this year, no, this year is a different restaurant that won. The last year they did, so they were displaying the trophy the whole year. It was there. They are showing their wins. Picking a theme is super important also. uh, the theme here, of course, is tropical El Salvador. So they have all sorts of things brought back from El Salvador, and they have references to the jungle in El Salvador, and the animals in the jungle in El Salvador, and the handcrafts, and the beautiful produce that you can find, and the colors, and the tropical life, and everything. And everything is resonating with this same theme of, this is where I give you your traditional Salvadoran food. So everything is resonating with the same. And then when you leave, you get a prize. Maybe in this place where you leave, when you leave after you pay for your tab and everything, you get a little Salvadoran trinket that maybe cost 5 cents, but it's a little parting gift that people take, and they will be happy when they see it. Next is teachable skills. What do you know that you can teach? When you think you know something, you have to ask yourself questions. Of course, you know it. And then the next question is, can you teach it? If you're able to teach it, this is when you really, really know something, right? Not just able to make it, but able to teach it. And it's a great way to build community. If you have whatever, if you have I don't know, whatever store, right? Sports memorabilia store. What can you teach? Can you teach baseball card investment? Can you teach this is the way to add value to your collection and place your collection in museums and exhibits and trade fairs? There's always something to teach, and it is a very, very good way to show your craft, to promote your business, and also to build a community. And of course, while you do this, while people are participating and learning from you, you are creating this brand loyalty. You are helping people become your advocates and your ambassadors. Very, very important. And then there's pairings. The typical pairing is, oh, I am going to have chicken, so may pair this with a nice Chardonnay, or I'm having a coffee, I may pair this with a great coffee cake, right? But pairings go way, way, way beyond that. Pairings, for example, can be, if you are selling a product, what service can you add on top of that product that will enhance the way that product is delivered. If you have a service, what is a way that you can add value and enhance the way that that service is delivered? Maybe you are very skillful in creating packaging. So the products that you're selling, you are making these amazing packages, and you get very well known for the packages. Who knows? Maybe someone eventually will come and will say, I'm buying this, but I need you to make the package for me. And there's a business that stems from there, right? So adding value to the things, to the products, to the objects that you sell, and adding also services, products on top of the services that you're selling, may be a very fruitful thing to do. Then you can find suitable partners in the local business community. For example, if you have a gift store, maybe you go on to the wine cellar and you ask the wine cellar to write you a few recommendations of wine that would pair really well with the gifts that you're selling. So you add a note on this beautiful candlestick. You say, what if when you buy this candlestick, you buy these candles that are, I don't know, maybe they are artisanal candles that are made in the store next door. And when you light the candles, why not have a glass of this delicious wine which is sold in the store 2 doors away, right? And these recommendations start being cross recommendations between businesses in the same town, which can be incredibly uplifting for the businesses. And of course, it creates it gives the message of, we are all working together to make our main street fantastic, which is a really good message to send. It works really well with coffee pairings, with tea pairings, with book pairings. If you're selling something and you go to the local bookstore and say, okay, so these are the highlights that I am selling, please write me a few book recommendations that would go great with these. So you get the experience of, I am buying this, I am drinking this, and I am reading this. So your life, as you come home and you install everything that you bought, becomes amazing. You are taking some of the experience that these businesses are offering, and you're taking that experience home. This is really successful thing. And of course, find ways to collaborate in store. Some of the great ways, for example, to maximize the space in a store. There's different reasons why you may need to maximize the space. Maybe for some people, especially in areas here in the Northeast, rent is really, really high. So if people have a business that only happens a few hours during the day, it's very important for them to find a way to use that store and to offer a paid service or sell paid products or whatever during more hours of the day, so that they are actually maximizing the revenue and using all because they are paying rent for 24 hours of the day. So it's better to use the store more hours than just the few ones that they are using. So finding these ways to collaborate. Maybe it's a bakery. So the bakery will start work at 2 a.m. and end work at 12 when they are, or 11 a.m. when they run out of bread. But then the store is going to be closed for the next 8 or 9 or 10 hours. What can we do to activate this store? Maybe we bring a local, I don't know, maybe we teach bread making classes. Maybe we open a pop-up pizza parlor in the evenings. Anything that can help them, keep the open hours longer in their stores. And these ways of collaborating They really make the businesses more complex. The collaboration shapes both of the business, or all of the businesses that are involved in the collaboration. They get reshaped. They become more complex and more rounded, and of course they become more solid businesses. And those were 5 things that businesses could do. And I know, well, Jenny's here, and more people from organizations. These are concrete actions that local organizations can start to, of course, upgrade the customer experience. When we talk about the Main Street experience, every single thing a business does that shapes the way the sidewalk is interacting with their storefront is actually shaping the customer experience of the entire Main Street or the entire downtown. So there are things that the businesses do, and these are grassroots efforts, but those grassroots efforts can be complemented by efforts that the organizations do district wide that can help a little bit uh, with elevating the context where all the businesses are working. Number one is tools. The Idea Factory is actually a tool that I offer. It's a tool that essentially looks at the entire district and does an assessment and comes up with tactical ideas. This is what we could do. This is how we could activate it. So the idea is not to do the Idea Factory, but think of what tactical moves can you make from the district perspective to be able to elevate the context where all the businesses are working. Placemaking is one of them. So what interventions in public space can I make that will elevate things? I showed you pictures of 2 parklets in this neighborhood called La Floresta back home in Quito. Parklets were not allowed. Parklets were illegal in Quito. And at the time, I was working in local government. And we basically devised a plan. We did work with the administration's lawyers, and we devised a plan where we could actually push the approval of a parklet regulation in record time. And this involved people actually installing parklets when they were not allowed. Eventually, I guess it was a little bit over a year later, the regulation was in place, and they were allowed. But these are the things, the coordinating things that the organizations can do with placemaking to make the public realm better. Event coordination, this is very interesting. There's always events in town, right? And sometimes local businesses see the events, and there's no clear way of collaborating with the events and getting something from the event. Yes, the direct one is the event brought 26,000 people to town, and the sales went up 4% in local businesses. Yes, but there's also ways of making this more direct. There's also ways of saying, okay, so we are going to have a jazz festival. We are going to have I don't know, whatever, food festival, right? And how can the businesses that are working online, downtown, whatever, how can these businesses collaborate with the event, and how can the event raise awareness about the businesses and also help the businesses sell more? It's unique for each different festival, for each different activity, for each different event that comes downtown. But essentially it involves the organizations looking at different ways that the local businesses can help promote the event, and asking the local businesses what they think the event could do for them. Listening, and then creating this plan which includes marketing, which includes many other things, but it's coordinating the fact that the events help the local businesses. Clustering is another interesting one. You will notice that in downtowns, businesses that have something to do with each other start to become this club. Sometimes, when the district is large enough, they probably even start opening in places close to each other. We have one here, which is a little village that has a handmade cosmetics store, and then right next door has a very like dark academia gift shop, which is amazing. And then right next door, they're rehabbing an old church, and they will have this incredible spiritual shop that has a tarot reader, and so everything that happens in that little village is essentially a cluster. All these businesses are, they, if they work together, they could be a powerhouse, and this village could be amazing. They could even decorate the streets, and put up some string lights, and just do an amazing public space that will support all the businesses that are working, because they're working in the same kind of industry, and they're working, and they probably appeal to the same target groups. So it's very, very important to look at what's happening here. And when similar businesses in the same industry start opening close to each other, it's a very good way to help them grow together. And of course, the last one is marketing, and everything is marketing, right? But I stress the marketing here. I highlight the marketing here in the things that local organizations can do today, because the marketing is usually done for single businesses. So I will go and I will take a picture of, look at this fantastic store that's opening, and this is the owner of the store, and she has this amazing story, and this is great. And of course, this highlights the store. But the marketing that I'm talking here is, how do we highlight the unique personality, the unique character of our downtown by highlighting the individual businesses. So what we want is, we want the downtown to have this narrative, the downtown to have this mystique, and have this aura of, I need to visit this place, right? I'm not going to a single store. I'm going to the downtown, because the downtown just feels amazing. How do we achieve it? Of course, by showing the individual stores, by showing the public spaces, by showing the events, by showing everything that goes. But it's not an individual, it's not helping them market their individual stores, is using the contribution of the local businesses to create this amazing idea of, this is our downtown. Yes, this is the, wait, there. That's the presentation. Thank you so much. I will open now for questions. However, Kate had an idea that I will let her explain, because she will explain better. And
Okay.
if you see this QR code, please open it. What you may or may not see, if you don't see it, tell me and I'll change the code, because there may be something not exactly right with it. You should see the Storefront deck. And the Storefront deck is a deck of cards that I have created. This is a product that I use with my clients. And it basically, each card is something you can do for your business. You can, it can help you design the brand of your business. It can help you design the in-store experience. It can help you design the store. It can help you design specific things about the store. And so if you open it, and again, when I say store, and I'm also talking about the online storefront. This is also a storefront. So, and these ideas, most of these ideas will apply to digital storefronts. So take one, pick a card, implement, and then Kate will tell you how this works. So
Yeah.
I'll give it to Kate.
Oh, okay. So good. Jenny says disregard it. So I just want to make
Disregard.
sure I access
Mhm.
the deck. And Jaime, thank you for sharing this. I think this will be a great exercise. So I mean, you've given everybody so many incredible ideas and a framework to think about storytelling and crafting a memorable experience. So this is the opportunity to kind of select one thing and really work to focus to try to implement that thing. So yeah, feel free to browse the deck. we'd like you to, as kind of this month's assignment or part of this month's assignment, we would like you to select one of the items from that deck and try to work through how you would implement that. And then we will follow up with you on the implementation to see what the result was. And so, I mean, you can choose more than one if you're feeling ambitious, but we'd like you to choose one to work through. And if if there is a digital complement to the one you've chosen, which we hope there would be, there's probably a number of different ones we could dream up for all the different scenarios. But if you need help with sort of the digital version of that card you've chosen, please reach out to us. We're happy to help you brainstorm how that could work. But obviously this is something that can be implemented in both the physical realm as well as the digital realm. But if you feel like it's best placed for the physical, we're totally here to support you in making that effort happen, because everything you do in your physical space impacts your digital one and vice versa. So this really is kind of tying back to the unified commerce approach that we're all striving for. So hopefully really helpful insights and now tools you can use to incorporate some of these great ideas and frameworks into your business. So go ahead. I'm not gonna talk anymore because I know we are a few minutes over, but I want to open it up for questions for Jaime while we do still have him. I am gonna stop recording though. So let me just quickly stop the recording. Oh, Jaime, do you want to start sharing your screen, maybe?
Try. There.
There we go.